Vincenzo's Gold Crypto Investing in another nightly update here of the charts. This is a mid-December, just before Christmas, approaching midwinter, early evening chart update. And we're going to start with the Bitcoin, right? We didn't talk about Bitcoin yet today. We're going to see this is in a sell area right now down there. Usually I use it as a contrarian indicator. I do the opposite of whatever that says, right? And you can see with the Bitcoin right now, the chart, the computer's running a little slow, which is to be expected. Come on. Let's move this fucking chart over. There we go. So we can see what's been going on in Bitcoin today. We had that little pump, and we're watching to see if we can't get, as we move this over into the current time frame, the 51,669 upper resistance, which is about up in this area over here, where there was some traded area, major traded range, right? So we're watching out for that. But what looks like might be happening as we zoom on in here a little bit, we've come down to the 200-day moving average. Now this is a critical area for Bitcoin right now. If you break this 200-day moving average right there, you're going to come down to your next underneath support, which is this orange fib circle again. The same thing you've been dancing around this whole time. Upper zone, upper zone, upper zone, upper zone, all heavy sell pressure, all about the 200-day moving average. So we're going to see if this doesn't trade back down to this orange fib circle and then get underneath it and trade back down towards the bottom of this falling little wedge that it was in, which it just did hit the top of the target, and then come down to this double bottom is where I think you're coming to at 42,865, right? That's where I think we're going in Bitcoin next. I think this has just been one big consolidation. We'll get rid of this little perching tool. I think this has been one big consolidation right here, and this is just one final little fake out to the upside to try to get some jabronis in on a little bit of a move, and then we're going to head right back down here in a swift and fast and quick and brutal action down to 42,000. But if you do pump up, your upper resistance would be up here, this former traded range back here, and if you go back there, there's more back in here. That would be your first upper resistance, major upper resistance right here, and then this would be area where I don't think you would get by, you'd get rejected, and that's from our previous rising wedge that we were in, that we broke out of decisively with price action right there and with huge volume down here, right? See that? So we had a confirmation of not only price action move, but we confirmed it with a huge volume spike, right? So that confirms the breakout. Then you have the quick wick back, and I still think this is just an elongated version, and you got to come down and double bottom. Then if you want to try to make a substantial move up, you could, but I think we're very bearish, and I think as the stock market continues to top out, as interest rates get closer and closer to D-Day, where they have to raise rates because tapering's done, and they either have to go back and start printing money and say we're never going to raise rates, and then that's a whole nother set of worms, or they got to start to raise rates and then the stock market collapse. And I think that's going to keep the crypto sphere very, very bearish with some pumps in the market, because nothing goes straight down. But I think we're going to be in a bear trend or bear market or a crypto winter as we head on into the beginning and new 2022. I think the crypto starts off the first quarter of 2022 in a very bearish fashion, and we've already been bearish in the altcoins, but I think the Bitcoin, the big daddy, is going to have the shock, the price shock, when you look at it and you see a 2 or a 1 up there instead of a 5 or a 6 after so long. I think that's what's coming, right? We'll look at the Doge. There hasn't been very little volume in the Doge. All the coins there's not enough new buyers or volume in there to sustain anything. So you get a big pump like this, a phenomenal pump, and unless you bought in it here and sold the rally, you don't make any money, because it just as quickly as it's up there, unless you had a stop loss, you blinked, took a shit, it's already back down and lost most of its gain, and the chance to make the profit is gone, with most of the exchanges with taxes and fees and taxes and all that nonsense. So I still think this too, along with all the other coins, the XRPs of the world, the ZILs, all the ones that haven't back tested this major lower support from where we had the same exact price action, the big wick down, the buyback, and then this formation with big pumps in there. I think you're still coming back down to retest that. We'll get rid of that. Right, I think that's where you're going. You got a little bit of support at 15 cents, but if you break that, you're coming down to 12. And I still think, as I said, when I seen this pump on the 14th, I said it's more than likely coming back to the 200 day and then probably eventually back down to that 12-cent double bottom. It just seems to be the sentiment of the market. There's very little to no volume in this coin. It almost looks like when you're looking at the minute time frame, it's trading like a 1930 stock market, right? Just kind of how it barely does anything. You can see a little Cardano, right? We haven't talked about Cardano in a while, but you can see the old Cardano has broken bearish after we had our continuation pattern that we were looking at up here, where we had that major resistance, the targeted move that it hit, then we broke to the next level, and now we're consolidating right above the shit house. And yes, Cardano, if you can believe this. Oops, so let's pull out Eraser. Let's get rid of some of this nonsense. Eraser's making several appearances today to show the new audience what Eraser's all about. Let's get Eraser in here. Where you at, Eraser? There he is. Let's go pull in some Eraser. Bam! Eraser. Let's erase some of this shit, Eraser. What the fuck's going on? Let's go. Oh, that's not Eraser. I don't know what I'm doing. I gotta stop smoking the ganja. That's not the Eraser. That's the Eraser. I don't know what I'm doing. Bam! There we go. Look at Eraser. It's been so long. Me and Eraser get confused. This is back when we had that descending overhead resistance that we thought would force the price down, and it did. Let's get rid of all these old, hideous looking ones, right, and get the new ones. And thank you, Eraser. Phenomenal showing by Eraser. It shows again why he's a valuable part of this operation. And as we go into a bigger screen, we'll get rid of this, right? And we need to go back out and zoom out to see, because people can't believe we're this far down close to the shit house. And Cardano, after it had a phenomenal pump, everybody thought they were going to get rich. Remember, this was the man holding the bowling ball in the club foot. Turned out to be a bullish reversal as we tipped in to the shit house briefly. Then we had that huge pump in this rising channel, and now we're all the way back down almost to the shit house as we have major overhead resistance at $1.38. The top of the shit house that we're about to come back down to is $1.06. And the bottom of the shit house that everyone's got to be worried about is all the way down there at 69 cents, right? And that is very possible, as it is the technical target after we broke down out of this falling channel or rising channel, right? And then you had the price breakdown right here, confirmed it with the price action, hit a nice volume uptick and sell volume to confirm it. Now we're coming up to back test this, and if you can't get over this 200-day moving average to try to get bullish, you're unfortunately going to fall all the way down to the top of the shit house, right? In Cardano. Like, subscribe, and share to Vincenzo's Gold Crypto Investing. Peace and love. Peace and love.